Hey YouTube, Sam here. Well, the ice maker in our fridge kicked the bucket here quite a while back, and it was like 60 bucks to order one online, and we couldn't even get one locally because the refrigerator was too old. So right now we've been just making our own ice and throwing it in the ice bin, which is okay, but it's kind of a pain in the butt. Sometimes you run out and then you gotta wait for it. So I like having the ice maker in the fridge. It's a nice thing to have, and thank goodness I kept this thing around because I was going to do a video on scrapping it, do a scrapping video, so keep an eye out for that if you're like my scrapping videos. But we were walking through Lowe's the other day, and this popped up, and I noticed on the side of it, it looked an awful lot like the one we have. So we went ahead, and it was on their clearance rack for less than 30 bucks. So we went ahead and picked that up, and as you can see, it is really close to the same thing. In fact, I would wager to say it's probably built by the same company for whatever refrigerator this goes in. Now, there was a couple of differences about it, which I've already kind of started tearing this apart, and I thought, I should make a video on this. This right here was on the side here, and as you can see, compared to this one, that, you know, it goes in the same place, but this is quite a bit bigger. So I could take this one off fairly easy, but this one seems to be a little bit more difficult to figure out how to get off. So, and I don't want to break things, and I think I could make this work if I had to. So we'll see if we can get that to come off. The second and biggest problem is it's got a different plug on it, and unfortunately the wires are also a different color. So therefore I need to put the old plug, splice it onto here. Now, once again, I have no idea if this is going to work, and that's part of the reason why I'm doing the video too. So, you know, if you have the same problem as me and you happen to see, I have a feeling there's probably a ton of these out there in refrigerators that look similar but aren't quite the same. But if we can make it work, then you'll know that you can take your refrigerator and probably replace it with something out of something else. So, or your ice maker. So we're going to go ahead and do that, and the first thing I'm going to do is try and get this thing off of here, and anyway, so I'm going to try to pop this loose and get this to work. This piece I just had to kind of pry it out of there, and then the whole thing turned sideways, and I took just this piece here and kind of pried in this area, and it just pulled out, and then I had to kind of just carefully pull it off of here. Hopefully this will go back on. So, and I was able to replace that without too much hassle. Make sure everything is where it's supposed to be. Alright. Pretty good with that. Now, the next hardest part is figuring out what wires go where. And the only wires that seem to be the same is there's a green and yellow one go into both of them here. And that's the top one on this one, and I don't know what it is on this one, because it's side to side here as where this one goes flat all the way. So the first thing I'm going to do is open this up and see where the wires lead to. And that looks like that's it. That should make everything come out. So now I'm going to put this one away to the side. I may actually keep on keeping this for some parts in case anything goes wrong. Hoping we can get a new refrigerator here after the next year or two, but for right now, gotta fix what I got. Now I gotta open this one up and see if I can make it work in here. We're back here with the white one here, and working on a dirty bench. It appears to this one, and this is one of those things where if you do something I do and you hurt yourself or mess up something, I'm not responsible. If you don't like the way I'm doing it, don't do it. But this one appears to have clips down here on the bottom, and then should open up that way. This has all the electrical stuff in it, and it looks fairly similar just from the outside appearances here. It's got a little diagram. I guess I should say schematic for the anal people out there. Alright, so we are going for this wire here and replacing it with this wire here, in case you're not caught up. Something else that was different on this one is this right here, but there is actually no mounting screw on the one in my fridge. I don't know if there was one in this one, and mine sits here, but basically this just leans against the fridge. The only mounting screws we have is here and here. I've already checked that, and those fit perfectly, so we're still on track here. We're going to open this one up, and right here you'll see is where the stop lever arm goes in, and that's where you have to watch out for that. The rest I don't know, because I haven't opened this one up, but it looks real similar so far to the other one. I'm going to do this and still film at the same time. It's kind of difficult because I'm trying to stay out of your way, give you light, and work left-handed, which I like doing once in a while. There's a little tip and trick right there. Work left-handed when you have good ability to do so. Practice left-handed on things, because I promise you, if you do mechanical stuff, you're going to need to learn how to use your left hand more than you want to, believe me. Being an ambidextrous person can never hurt, and it definitely helps when it comes to mechanics. Luckily, that runs in my family. So here we go. We're going to be careful here, hoping no springs or anything. We got some springage here. Carefully pull this one out, because this one I am worried about. Alright, and it does. It looks pretty darn close to identical as far as what we have for wiring here. It even looks like it'll pop out of here and in here the same. So we are a little bit different here. Let's see, blue to there, orange goes down to there. Let's see, okay. So there's an orange one coming off of this one that just goes to the same place as the blue, and then inside here it's blue again. So they just basically changed the color of this wire right here to orange instead of blue, and then the blue goes to the same place. Then you got your white one, which goes to the same place as the yellow one. Green ones go to the same place, and I still, let's see, okay, the black, it appears, no? Let's see, there's a brown one, and unfortunately it's a totally different animal here, so that's going to be the kicker there, is whether or not I can make this work. There it goes into what appears to be some sort of a sensor here, and it doesn't just plug in, it will have to be spliced. This this black one here will have to be spliced into what this brown one here, and I don't know which one. So I'm gonna have to mess with that, kind of look at the electrical schematics, and we'll be back. So now I got it all put back together. Everything just goes exactly where it goes. The only difference with this one and mine was that where there was a brown one coming out, you got to figure out which wire this one goes to, because there's two brown ones coming out here, and mine goes to the one furthest towards the edge over that way, according to the way the other one was wired up. So Oh, excuse me, I got a cold. I'm still trying to get over here. Actually, I think I'm getting a new one. But beside the point, I went ahead and just wire nutted that together because I'm not absolutely positive that everything here is right. I'm just kind of assuming, which is not always a good idea, but I am probably 95% positive that this probably will work as long as this is working. And as long as I didn't damage anything in the process. But hopefully I didn't. Hopefully we can just put this back together here, which just popped out. This does actually fit in there, exactly the same place. Now here's the thing you got to watch out for. You got your spring and your whole mechanism here, and you got to make sure that spring is up against this wall and on there. This is sticking up where it needs to stick, and it goes in this right hole here. Now that I rewired things, it's going to be a little bit more difficult to get stuff jammed back together here probably. Oh, see, my spring just popped out. Darn it. And that goes around a little arm down here. This is the part that kind of is a real bummer. That goes underneath there and into here. Alright, hopefully you saw some of that just for educational purposes. We are hitting on something. You know what? I think that I need to move where this green one right here is hitting on here, keeping it from closing. So I'm going to move things around, get them in there. When I have it buttoned up, it'll be ready to hopefully test things. When I was putting that on, I was having trouble with it, and I realized I had to move this, kind of turn this up until it hit where it needed to be to allow that to come in. Also, before you plug it in, make sure that's up on the stop there, and make sure this is all working correctly. But make sure it's on stop, otherwise as soon as you plug this in, water will start dumping into your mechanism here. So until you're ready for it, make sure that's up. Alright, well, time to go try it out. Alright, well, I put it in and it did absolutely nothing. And I looked in the instruction booklet, so I remember there was a way to kind of start these things, but I couldn't find anything on it. And finally I just kind of decided, I remember it was you turn one of these two screws, and what I did is I took a flathead screwdriver and put it in there, and you turn it counterclockwise, and it is now running. That kind of gets it. Took me a little while. I had to kind of give it a few turns before it turned. Now no water has come into this yet, so I'm waiting for that to happen. I think it has to go around before it clicks and decides, okay, it dumped out the ice, now we got to refill it. So we'll see. It's at least turning now. So we'll see if it makes some ice. Well, it appears water ran into it. So if you're having a problem and it's just not doing anything, kickstart it with that little flathead screwdriver there, and with a flathead screwdriver, that little gear, and it should kind of get going. Like I said, counterclockwise. And it says that the ice out of this for the next 24 hours will be no good, so we'll have no ice for 24 hours. We'll see. That way it cleans it out or whatever, I guess. But anyhow, so far so good. So we'll see in a while whether or not we have some ice. Well, YouTube, as you can see, there's the bin from out of my freezer here, and it is full of ice. So it is working. So if you have that same thing where you find a ice maker that looks similar but has a different plug on it, it should work to do the same thing I just showed you. So hopefully this will save you a couple bucks here and there. Alright, this is Sam, Jack of all, Master of none. You all have a good one.